everybody. Today I am back with a super quick video for you guys. This is just making one of the little pockets that came in the pumpkin harvest kit from MyPorchPrints. So I'm just assembling this little pocket. Kind of looks like a library card pocket, but it's got several different layers, which is really cool. And you can tuck in all kinds of little goodies and journaling cards and things like that in this particular little pocket. So I'm just taking the things that I've already trimmed out and I am putting some glue on it. There was some extra bulk where these corners met, so I'm just snipping off that so that they meet a little bit cleaner and they don't produce too much bulk. I definitely don't want a lot of bulk in this album or any more than it's already going to have. So I'm just snipping away that excess so it doesn't kind of bunch up in the corners. And then I'm just using my Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1 glue to glue this down. It's probably my preferred glue. I have since switched to using, what is it called? Art glitter glue that I really like, so I kind of go back and forth. It just kind of depends. Sometimes my bottle of my 3-in-1 does not want to come out very nicely. I think I need to buy some acetone to add to it because as I use the 3-in-1 it does thicken up and it tends to get clogged in the tube or the applicator part. So I think if I get some acetone and to thin it down a little bit, that might help. I just keep forgetting to bring it. So you can see there, it just has those multiple pockets. There's 1, 2, 3 different pockets in this particular little guy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and look at all of my little journaling cards and see what I think is going to look nice in these pockets. So I'm just auditioning several different items to see what is going to work. Some of these are definitely too big and obviously some are too small. They kind of fall in the pocket too much. I am going to use that pear soap, the pumpkin card, the pear little card, and a couple other things here. So I'm just kind of going through here, figuring out what's going to work best, and then I will soon settle on a few things. I do have a couple other pieces that I have not cut out yet that I'm going to go through and just trim these out, and I'm going to use these as well. So I really like this music sheet. I thought that would look cute. I also am going to cut out a pumpkin, and I'm going to be cutting out one more thing. What is it? I don't remember. I got the music sheet, the pumpkin, oh, and one of these journaling cards. I really like the blue color that it's adding to the pocket, so I wanted to cut out one of these. So this is just a little Thanksgiving kind of turkey looking photo with 2 people. And I'm just going to trim those out, and then I'm going to ink around all the edges. I'm going to spare you some of this, so I'm just fussy cutting everything and then I'm inking everything. I do a lot of inking in this album. I'm just going to warn you right now. I'm going to try to cut out as much of that, like inking and fussy cutting, as possible. Sometimes it's just hard to do too many edits. It just kind of cuts in weird. So just bear with me and I will remove as much as I can so you're not sitting there watching me ink around the cards. It's kind of like watching paint dry. So definitely want to get some of that out of there for you. So now what I'm doing is just making some different layers on the cards that I cut out. I just took some dictionary paper and I'm gluing the little pumpkin that I fussy cut onto the music sheet. This one I needed to back it because it's just the white on the back. So I'm looking and finding some tea-dyed paper, and I'm just using my glue stick for all of this. Most of the pages that I'm using, or the paper that I'm using, is pretty thin, and so the glue stick works really well for the thinner paper, so I don't mind using it for that. Anytime I use like a thicker cardstock, I will use like a more liquid glue, like art glitter glue. In this case, it does work just fine with the glue stick. So I'm just trimming that out, and I will ink around this as well, just so it looks cohesive on the back and it gives it a nice shadow. Again, I really like adding the ink because I think it gives it a nice dimension. And on this case, I think it's not quite dark enough, so I'm just taking my little brush tool here with some ink that's already on it and also inking it up just a bit more. Now I'm pulling out the rest of the cards and seeing what else I want to do. They seemed a little plain, so I will zhuzh them up a bit by adding a few more elements to them in some of the cases. Now I'm just, again, auditioning, seeing where I think everything is going to go, and once I'm happy with that, I'm just pulling them out and I flip them over. You can see a couple of these have that coffee dyed paper on the back side, but I still wanted to make them a bit more fancy. So I'm trimming out or ripping up this dictionary paper and I'm adding it as kind of a base for another element to sit on top of, so it doesn't look like it's floating as much. So I will end up using my glue stick to glue that paper down. I pull out this turkey and then I think I pull out a pear, or no, a leaf, and I add that to the card as well. In this case, since the other side has a nice image on it, if you want to sew and have some of that texture, make sure you sew that beforehand. So for instance, if I wanted to sew that leaf to the dictionary piece, I want to do that separate and then glue that little cluster onto the back of the card rather than sewing onto the card itself, because then it would show through on the other side and probably in a place that I don't really want it in this particular instance. So now I'm just taking my glue stick, gluing all the little elements down that I picked out. And I'm just using my Oohoo glue stick. I've found that I really like that one a lot. I've used a couple other glue sticks, but the Yoo-Hoo so far is probably my favorite that I've used. Again, though, I use it for like the thinner paper and such. Here is just using my glue eraser. I had some extra glue kind of hanging out, and that glue eraser is perfect to get some of those little pieces that I don't want sticking out off. And I do want to add a little sunflower here onto this one, so I'm just going to ink around the edges to take off some of that white that's showing, and I'm going to use my glue stick again to add this to the card. You just got to be really careful when you're doing these fussy cut images with the glue stick. It tends to cut into your glue, so you just got to go gentle. Smoothing that all down with my little credit card or my hotel key card. And I'm really liking how that looks. Now I think I want to put everything back in and see how everything's going to fit. I will end up backing that piece of the pumpkin. I didn't have anything on the back of that, so it looks a little funny because it's just stark white. I'm just going to glue this down to some more tea-dye paper. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to glue this down and then turn around, and then that's pretty much the pocket. It's a really quick video, like I said. If you want to see the close-ups of the pictures, you can just stick to the end. I do have some photos. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will have more videos of things I'm making for this fall junk journal up soon. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.